are we doing? Thank you for joining me again. For those who are coming out of my Love is Blind live. Oh my goodness, that show was something else. We were talking forever. Forgive me for being a little tardy. But thank you all for being here. Hey, Bria. Bria said, I'm low key glad this is the last episode. Tasha is annoying. Absolutely. Hey, Naro said, hey, Nikki, Tracy, and Star family. Happy to be here. Thank you for being here. Hey, Yocrates said, hey, Nikki and Star family, what's up? Hey, Blue Jay, did you see that Giselle? Did you see the Giselle news on the girl trip? On the girl trip? No, what is this something new? What's going on? Hey, Indigo. Hey, Dr. M, welcome back. Hey, Pink Petals, hello again. Hey, Blue Jay. Hey, Pink Pie. Thank you all for joining me again. Now you said ready. Got to be Pink Boutique. What's up? Hey. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for coming back. Megan said, when Rocky and Tasha were explaining the kickback situation, he was like, well, what happened was, I want them off this show. I don't want them to come back. I do not want them to come back because there's no way they can't get arrested. I feel like a season 2, we're going to see them go to the big house. They need to leave this show alone. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? Thank you for joining us today. Hey, Kesha. I say Kesha. Is it Keisha? It was a Kesha. Let me know. Hey, Greta, how are you? Hey, Johnny's acting channel said, hey, Nikki and everyone. Hope everything is great with everybody. Thank you, Johnny. We're back in here, Miss Gigi. Hey, Sebastian. Alicia said, ultimate girls trip. So what's going on over there? Is there any additional tea? This is insane. All of this is insane. All of this is insane. Missa said, I'm live hopping today. Glad to be in the room. Glad you were here. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't put it in the, I think it's in the title, right? Yeah, it's in the title. Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I just didn't spell it out because if my title is too long, YouTube would not allow me to put it in. So I just put the hashtag. We're going to talk about it. We're actually going to talk about SWV and Xscape first. Then we're going to get into Girls Trip. And then we're going to end with Jersey, because I don't have a lot to say about Jersey, but I watched it. So if we talked about it before, so I just wanted to, stay consistent. Hey, Alana, how are you? Back again, Aye. Tia said, run. Tasha is exhausting. I hope they don't come back. I feel like they can't. I don't think it's safe for them, to be quite honest with you. Hey, Sebastian. Hey, Spency. Sebastian said, hey, Tracy. What's up, Tracy? The NikkiStar TV general. Spency said, hey, Nikki, did you watch Tasha's apology, the one with the snot? Or did she do a new one? Let me know. Hey, Joy. Joy said, I think they're talking about the hateful comment Giselle said on the podcast. Reasonably Shady? Guys, I don't subscribe to that. I do not subscribe to Reasonably Shady. If I cannot take Giselle and Robin in an ensemble, why would I listen to them solely together? Snap, killer couples. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's get into SWV and Xscape. So I said it before. Hey, Teresa. Hey. Yeah, we talked about it, Spencer. We talked about the snot one. How did you not feel that? Are you Botoxing? That was weird. I was like, that's a lot of snot for you not to feel and then eat. When she ate it, Oh, my TikTok got to be Pink Boutique is Nikki.Star. I'm asking everybody to go and follow me over there because I want to go live for Love is Blind. For the season finale, for the reunion. I feel like that's something I want to watch with you guys. So I'm asking everybody to go and follow me over there at Nikki.Star. Let me bring up my tickety. I just posted my suit that I'm starting. So this is my tickety talk. Nikki.Star. Follow your girl over there, please. So we could watch Love is Blind together. And I feel like the lives over there will be a lot easier to do than over here because, TikTok is still very new. It's not as restrictive. So we can have a lot of fun over there. Tracy said, see, I want them to come back so I can see them get locked up. Oh my God, because Tasha and Rhugt needs to be in jail. It's not safe for them. They should not come back. Thank you. Got to be Pink Boutique. Mrs. said it's hard to keep up with the show timeline versus what's happening in real time. It's all messy. I feel like the NDAs and the contracts are not as tight as they used to be because the talent has been very messy on these reality TV shows, like telling us everything. And it's like, so what am I watching the show for? To be honest with you, that's why I didn't watch Tamar and Evelyn's show, because why watch if y'all already let me know who y'all picked and who y'all engaged to? So what's the point of me watching? Like, you spoiled the ending. Greta said, I do not care about the Beige Brigade. My God. IA said, man, I stopped watching Jersey. I can't stand Joe, but I will support your review. Thank you. I'm telling you, it's like 3 things that I have to say. So for Kia Love said, I love SWV, but I disliked how they allow fans to sway how they feel about Xscape, the Xscape woman. It wasn't personal. It was just business. Blue Jay said, love before lockup. Rasha. Cam Delete said, we have to talk about what Candy's mom allegedly said to Tasha too. See, that's the thing. It's alleged. Y'all know we only deal in facts here. If Tasha not dropping receipts, I will not entertain it. Thank you so much, Tracy, for posting my TikTok. Please, if you want to follow your girl over there. But let's get into it. Let's start off, first of all, with SWV and Xscape. I like I said previously, I don't think that this show needs to come back. Here's why. This is just a bad look for both groups, in my opinion, right? Because I feel like SWV and Xscape both had people on both sides who dislike them, who did not dislike them before this show came out, right? So you always want to do something where you can build a greater fan base. You don't want to build a hate train. That's just, especially a toxic fan base that opposes you in your craft, especially in this day and age, and especially something that was developed out of Bravo. We know that Bravo has one of the meanest and most toxic, a lot of Bravo shows have very mean and toxic fan bases. Not all, but some, right? So I just feel like this show was not a good look for them. It didn't show sisterhood. It didn't show them working together. It showed, just to be quite honest with you, a lot of, middle-aged women, a lot of older and middle-aged women just being very miserable and not being able to come together and work through pettiness and still dealing with things that they were fighting about when they were 15 and 14 years old. And as a viewer, it just wasn't fun to watch. I really thought, and you guys know, we talked about this before, I went into the show thinking that SWV was the problem because I watched both reality TV shows. I watched SWV's reality TV show back in the day, and then I watched Xscape's. I felt like Xscape was a bit more palatable because Tasha was just the problem, right? I think when we get into this dynamic where we're mixing up the groups, right? And you have SWV, you have Xscape. I think for some reason, SWV was able to show a side of Candy that we had never seen. I personally did not like that side. I'm not saying it was a terrible look for her, but I just feel like for somebody who has just been so beloved, even if people didn't like her, you still loved her. I just feel like this wasn't a good look for her, right? Now, if this is someplace that she wants to stay, I say this as, somebody who works in TV and somebody who also watches this show, right? If she's going to be this person that she has showed us on the show, take that to Atlanta. That, in my opinion, will work a lot better for her than it will on this show, because there have been countless people saying that she's just not bringing enough on Atlanta. Now, what she brought on this show, I think fits Atlanta more than it fits this, because this show let out with the premise being sisterhood, being Black women coming together, running the show, and being successful. It was not that. It was a lot of fighting, stealing, backbiting. This show created a very toxic fan base, very reminiscent of Real Housewives of Potomac. And I just do not think that any group really benefited from it. I think that they all got paid probably nicely. And I think that Bravo will probably throw some more money at them. And so I don't see a lot of them walking away from it. But I'm just saying, unless you are Tamika Scott, this show was not a good look for you. I feel like, the stars aligned, heaven opened up and smiled down their favor on Tamika. But I feel like everybody else, I don't think this really helped them in any kind of way, to be quite honest with you. The worst offender was Latasha. I'm just like, not only did you come off very, very nasty, delusional, it seems like you were in some kind of mentally abusive relationship, but you and your husband look like big time crooks, and you were in the South. Atlanta, to be specific. And we know that DA likes locking up Black artists. So I am like extremely concerned for her freedom, not Rocky's, but her freedom. So I'm like, girl, I wouldn't do this show again. I wouldn't. Also, Latasha flaunts a lot of wealth on this show. Do you have receipts? Do you have documentation of this coinage to make this lifestyle believable? Because this entourage alone gotta be a couple thou. Not even, gotta be at least, if you're paying all those people, or if they're just extras, I get it. But if you are paying all those people, you gotta be putting out 20K a performance. Where are you getting this money from? That's another thing. I'm like, this is not smart. This just is not smart for either group, to be quite honest with you. I also think Taj, came out looking good as well. But at the end, I just think overall, this just was a poor look on both groups. And I don't think that any of them have small enough egos to think that a season 2 wouldn't be a good idea. I think that they're all probably going to try to do. I think if Bravo throws the right money at them, they're all going to try to do it and just say, oh, we're just making TV. But what people don't realize is that a lot of people do not understand that reality TV is not all the way real. You can tell by the fan base. A lot of people are picking sides, attacking these ladies. And it's just like, you are banking on the fact that these adults know that you're putting on a performance, or you might, or if you do feel that way, you might be putting 20 on 10 for the show. Or if you no longer feel that way, you felt that way in the moment, so you're telling the story. A lot of people do not know how these shows are put together, right? So you're banking on people having that knowledge and maturity and wherewithal and common sense to know that this is for entertainment. And that is just not the case. I will say, one of the worst things about reviewing this show, which is why I got to be honest with you, I haven't been as consistent with this one, is because the fan base is just a lot to deal with. And I'm sorry, I'm only dealing with one toxic fan base at a time, and that is Potomac. Any other fan base, I'm just not doing it. Y'all see, I dropped out. If y'all were following me from the beginning, y'all see how quickly I dropped out of Love and Hip Hop. The devil is a liar and the truth ain't in them. As soon as them barbarians started fighting in my comment section, I was like, oh, this show is done. I don't need it. I don't care how many views I was getting from that. Absolutely not. I don't need this. Keep that rigmarole and them rabble rousers, keep them over there. Don't come over here. Not to my gated community. Absolutely not. This fan base was really difficult. Really, really difficult. And it just wasn't fun. And if you don't have a reality TV show that we have been loyal with, so even though it's not fun, we still watch, you're coming in new and we're already miserable, I'm good. I just don't think that they need to bring this show back. Now, throw your tomatoes if you must, but I have a small critique about Tamika. Tamika, I will say this. If you were trying to fix things with your sister, right? Because you say that all the time. So you love your sister and you want things to work out. I don't think that it was smart to confront her on camera about her and her husband stealing additional money from you, right? Are you right? You and the group right for questioning her? Absolutely. But I think that you're making things a little bit more difficult for yourself, especially within the kind of family that you have, because no shade, it's very obvious that this family favors Tasha over you, right? So if you want to be a part of this family and you want to make it work, unfortunately for you, there's some things that you're just going to have to let go. You're going to have to let go of the 30,000, and you're going to have to stop confronting your sister on camera about money that she consistently steals. It's a terrible situation, but this is your family. And if you want to be a part of them, if you have spoken that there is a desire that you want this family to work, then that is just what you're going to have to give up. Now, if you want to snip, girl, keep on doing what you're doing. But I'm just like, you can't in one confessional say that you want to fix things with your sister, knowing how your sister is. And then in the next scene, you are showing text messages about how her husband is stealing money. You are right. I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying it's going to be a lot more difficult for you guys to get to a place of healing and moving forward if you hold her accountable. And that's just truth. I'm not talking about what's right in it, what's wrong in it. If you continue to hold her accountable, especially on camera, you are never going to get the resolve you want. You're going to have to let a lot go. You're going to have to bend a lot, and you're going to have to appease a lot of her poor behavior if you want a relationship with your sister, because I do not see her changing anytime soon. That's my only critique on her. Other than that, girl, this is your season. I hope, just like Marsha from Love is Blind, that you have the right team. I hope that you have the right manager. I hope that you have the right agent. I hope that you have the right lawyer. Because my God, today you are set up for success. We're rooting for you. We are rooting for you. I don't know how Xscape expected Latasha to react to them saying that her and Rocky was stealing money. I mean, I will say she sat there a lot longer than I thought she would. Because after a while, she was like, all right, let me get out of here. But I'm like, girl, when they first started showing receipts and all these kinds of situations, I would have been left. I would have jumped on the cameraman and broke the camera. Like, are y'all not afraid of prison? I'm afraid of prison, especially prison in the South. So I just don't understand. Yes, Atlanta is black, but it is still in Georgia. Girl, they are confronting you with receipts. And then you and this knucklehead husband get in the confessional, and your husband starts breaking down how to scam and defraud a bank. I didn't steal no money. If I were to steal that money or deposit somebody's royalty checks, I would need to have their ID, their social security number. I would need to know how to sign their name. I would have to actually go into the bank or send somebody that I know who can sign their name to go into the bank to sign their name. What the hell are you talking about? You are giving us the plan. You are giving us the rundown. Education is paramount. I'm sorry. I love these artists. I love the artists who are extremely talented and who have been in this business since they were teenagers. I got to be honest with you. It shows that you stopped going to school at 14. It shows y'all are sitting here telling us how to defraud the bank. And then Rocky, he closes with this. I ain't never had a bank account. I was like, oh, well, you're a scammer. How are you a grown man with a business and you ain't never had a bank account? Why? Tasha, everything is in your name for a reason. Ay. My head hurts. My head hurts. Oh my gosh. I just, whew. I ain't never had no bank account. You're a grown man in your 50s. You ain't never had a bank account? All that does is make the feds go, I wonder why. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So you mean to tell me you don't have no documented money in the United States of America? He had it coming. Anyway, I just absolutely ridiculous. Y'all do not need to come back. I don't care what kind of money Bravo gives y'all. Tasha and Rocky, stay off of TV. Stay off of TV. I'm telling you, it don't look good. It don't look good. Anyway, I just couldn't believe that. Let's get into Tasha's entourage. So I will say, at the end of this episode, we are able to see the show all come together. The ladies are, extremely difficult in the beginning of the show's rehearsal and everything. I want to say, as a performer, I overlooked how they were acting. Here is why. Especially when you don't have a lot of time to put a show together. Any artist, any performer is just not in their best. They're not going to be the kindest. They're not going to be the nicest. They're not going to be, butterflies and roses. That does not mean that you have to mistreat or talk down to anybody. I will say, I'm not going to excuse any poor behavior, but I will say you're stressed out. You're stressed out. So I understood Taj having a moment. I understood Coco having a moment, like the rehearsals was not together. The dress rehearsal was taking a lot out of everybody. Dress rehearsals are stressful, especially when you don't have a lot of time, especially when you got a lot of audio cues, especially when you have a lot to take in and not a lot of time to rehearse. So I would just give everybody a break on that, because I know what that frustration is like. I will say, Coco, I felt like you got, in my opinion, I felt like SWV was holding it all together. I think at this last rehearsal, that's when everybody lost it. But I was just like, Coco, I get being frustrated, but at your big age, you stand there like, I'm done. I'm just ready to fight. I just want to. Are you not from New York? You are in your 50s. At some point, you just got a woosah. Okay, cool. Who you trying to fight? Candy? Like, I was with y'all. Listen, SWV, I've been fighting for my life in these comments for y'all. I've been on your side, because I just feel like Xscape was throwing unnecessary shots on this show and off this show. But I felt like you and Taj was doing a lot for me. I felt like you were doing a little bit too much. And I just couldn't rock with everything. But they all finally got it together. The show actually worked out. I will say this. I changed my mind about understanding closing the show. Here's why I changed my mind. I'm not going to age shame. I'm not age shaming. I just want to let you know that right now. But I feel like SWV and Xscape is not that far apart in age, right? And I'm not saying they need to be in the gym to look a certain way. I think they all need to, SWV needs to do some kind of stamina routine. Here's why. I felt like watching this, they burnt out pretty early, right? And when they performed weak, right before understanding, it felt a little weak to me. And I was shocked, because in my opinion, Weak is the bigger song. Y'all know where I was at. I was like, Weak needs to close the show. But then I saw the Weak performance and I was like, well, this Weak performance is weak for me. And then I saw Understanding and I'm just like, Xscape for me sold it. They made a believer out of me that song should have closed the show. Now, I don't necessarily think that the song should have closed the show, but the way they sold that performance, that is the energy I feel like you need to have when you're closing a show. They really put it together. They really sold it for me. And I was just like, if I was at that show, I would want this to be the closer and not Weak, just because of how they sold it. Say what you want. They are toxic. They got issues. They'll probably never perform on the same stage again, but them Scott sisters can sing. Tasha may be nuttier than a fruitcake, but baby, she can perform. She can perform. Them Scott sisters are special. Special. They sold that for me. Tasha was in it. Tasha was, as I stand here. I said, come on, girl. Come on with your crazy self. You want to play Homer? I said yes. They sold it. They sold it for me. I wish the Scott sisters and the fifth member of Xscape would get it together because they're talented. And it's unfortunate that we probably won't see that talent perform together on the same stage ever again. Because I don't know if they can repair this. I really, really don't know. But they got something. They got something there. They can perform. Oh yeah, I want to talk about Tasha's entourage. So after the show, Tamika wants to talk to her sister. Again, Tamika, I can understand where Tasha is coming from in this aspect because you say, "Hey, I want to talk to my sister," and Tasha was just like, "You could have been talked to me. Why are you trying to talk to me now?" It does seem it may not have been your intention, but it does seem like, why do you want to talk to me now on camera? So she felt uncomfortable in that instance. And I don't agree with how she has treated her sister, how Tasha has treated her sister. But I can understand where she's just like, you could have talked to me before. You did not talk to me at all, but now you want to have a conversation. And it kind of felt scripted, right? So I can get where she's coming from with that. But I also understand Tamika being like, well, this whole entourage, you're putting all your attention and emphasis in them because Tasha walked in, did not speak to anybody, but walked in with her entourage. And even when she wanted to speak to her, the entourage was trying to come in, but thankfully Tasha's husband made sure nobody came in. And so there was that little weirdness with them there. And so Tasha was just like, I can't talk to you. This is what you want this. I don't want this. We can't have the conversation. And Tamika was just like, well, you're doing all this stuff, with this entourage and you're paying them. And she's just like, well, I like being around them because they're nice to me. And Tamika's like, well, you're paying them to be nice to you. And their conversation pretty much ended there. It didn't go anywhere. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to see this relationship break down on TV. And I think because it's so real, it's so precious, and so many people are involved in this, and so much heartbreak is involved, I think we can keep this off of TV. I like my train wreck TV light. This show was heavy for no damn reason. We started off with, Mama, you know they stole my $30,000. And then we end with this fractured family and probably half the cast going to prison. That's too much. That's too much. It's like Love After Lockup on crack. It's just too much. It's too much. We got to make this show a little lighter. If this show is coming back, it needs to be lighter. So at the end of this, we see that SWV is on tour or is going on tour, probably on tour right now with Jodeci. When we saw that, me and my sister, we both went, oh, that makes sense. Because I feel like, I got to be honest with you, I've always thought that Xscape and SWV were very equal. I just did not see them in the same space for some reason. I just never, I don't know, maybe because SWV was older. And I mean, I listened to Xscape. My mom listened to SWV. You know what I mean? So I know all the songs because that's what my mom will be playing all the time. But me and my sister listened to Xscape. So I didn't see them having not the same fan base, but I just did not see them in the same space. But SWV and Jodeci makes a lot of sense. That I was like, that is more of their speed, especially since SWV and Jodeci are mainly like R&B hip hop groups. That makes a bit more sense. I don't think SWV and Xscape makes sense for a tour. However, for show drama, they're perfect. But for a tour, I don't know. I just didn't, I don't know. It didn't click for me like SWV and Jodeci clicked. You picking up what I'm saying? But I feel like if it's going to be like a family affair, then it would make sense to have everybody out there. You know what I mean? Like SWV, Dru Hill, Jodeci, Keith Sweat, New Edition, like all of that in Xscape, that would make sense if it's like a family affair because everybody can come together and appreciate the music because that music has touched us in each generation at some point. But this didn't make sense to me. But SWV and Jodeci makes a lot of sense. You guys understand? Anyway, that's all I want to talk about with this show. What do you guys think? Let's get into it. JP said the energy to influence the influencers is so toxic. Well, you have to tell folks that you want them to know of what they watch and they go along with it. That's insanity. Well, it's reality TV. Hey, poor Shekula, how are you? Hey, Kamisha. Kamisha said, I quit Love and Marriage Huntsville just because I just couldn't with that level of toxic fans. Yeah, Love and Marriage Huntsville was a lot. Hey, the Nicholas Express said, Nikki, to love and hip hop. You will not bring your ghetto here. You will not bring your ghetto over here. You will not, guys. For those of you who were with me in the beginning, it was a mess. Like people threatening to like pull up on people. I'm like, oh no, what is this? Get off of my lawn. What? It like full on fist fights verbally. I said no. Mm-mm. Absolutely not. Indigo said, I knew Xscape had issues because Tamar Braxton talks about how Candy and other Xscape members treated her bad on tour. Oh. Tamar, what did you do? Akusua said, it seems like SWV does quick rehearsals and Xscape does full rehearsals. I picked that up. I picked that up because they don't do a lot. They sit down sometimes and, you know, they do a do. Xscape gives you a full performance. And I saw that in the rehearsals. Now, I'm not discrediting what anybody else, you know, what group does, you know, or whatever. I'm talking about what I would want to see more. And I would probably want to see Xscape more from what they gave. And I feel like if SWV wants to, you know, if you want to do a tour like that with them, you're going to have to match that, in my opinion, because the energy was there with Xscape. I didn't see it with you guys, but you had the vocals and you had the hits. So, you know, it's a mixed audience though. Like my mom didn't see anything wrong with that, but I was just like, oh, I'm like what Xscape is bringing. But my mom was like, you're the one. She ain't care. So maybe it works for their audience. JP said this show could have been fun, but it turned dark quick. It did. It did. And I hate, to be honest with you, I hate this for Black women. I really, really do. Because it seems like it's only our shows. You know what? Not just us. Jersey. Whew, yikes. But I feel like for us, we can never just really have a show where we enjoy. For some reason, it just gets so toxic. And I hate that for us. I really, really do. We can't just laugh and kiki. That's what I loved about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because in the beginning, everybody was having such a good time. Then it just got so nasty and it just wasn't fun anymore. It just was not fun anymore. Oh, Tracy said SWV been a group therapy in the shows. It does. It really, really does. Hey, Yacrides. Yacrides says, I think the reason we got this version of Candy is because Xscape didn't have management at the time and Candy stood in the gap. Okay, that does make sense. That does make sense. Y'all need management. I hope they have it now. Hey, Shed Pearl. How are you, my love? Akusa said, I saw a few clips of Salt and Pepper and SWV on the SWV show. SWV felt like they were the bigger group there too. I think SWV got a huge benefit, and Xscape and Candy are the reason. True, I will give them that. I will say, I just feel like, and listen, I was a performer with them when they were kids or whatever, but I'm just like, to the groups who are out in the 90s who are getting love today, how are y'all not all humble? I feel like all of y'all need to be on y'all humble, that people today in this day and age where capitalism is at an all-time high are still financially supporting you and keeping your lights on. I feel like y'all have no place to have an ego, especially when you are fighting with these teen starlets who have 100 million followers on like all these social media platforms, which for that group, that demographic, it absolutely does matter. To be able to still maintain an audience outside of the social media age, that is huge. And you should be extremely thankful and grateful because that is not the norm. I just don't understand having an ego still when everything can go away so quickly. It's just weird to me. It's very, very weird to me. The Nicholas Express said, Nikki, would you put any of SWV on Roni pre-season 4 reboot? I wonder how Lily would mess with the girls. No, here is why, and this is no shade to Lily. The Real Housewives shows are about wealth. I don't know what's going on with Atlanta, Potomac, and Jersey, but New York, money. New York is money, right? So I feel like, if it was Potomac, if it was Jersey, if it was Atlanta, she would probably do great. But the Real Housewives of New York wouldn't work. Would not work. The Real Housewives of New York is very Manhattan, very moneyed up. Even if you're black. What the hell is going on with that reboot? Child, they should have never put that show on pause. They should have never put that show on pause. IA said Rocky used to roll with Robert Kelly. I hate to imagine what Latasha has experienced in her relationship with Rocky. She is too brainwashed to change. Does anybody know their ages? Like, how old is Tasha and how old is Rocky? I feel like Tasha, since she's the oldest of Xscape, she gotta be late 40s. How old is Rocky? How old is Rocky? Oh, Tamika got a song with Method Man. Oh, I gotta check it out. I love that for her. Blue Jay says, do Tasha feel like she needs to or have makeup? Maybe it's not there, which is fair, especially she's constantly stealing money. Maybe she feels guilty about distancing from the family. I honestly feel like if she ever breaks up with that man, we're going to see a different side of Tasha. Well, you have to realize he's been controlling her or been a part of her life and been a controlling factor in her life since she was a teenager. Because they met when they were teens or when she was a teen. Like, how old is he? How old is she? Speaking of Tasha's entourage, to the woman who was seen combing her hair while she was walking and talking, are you her hairstylist? If not, I want better for you. If you are hired to just comb her hair so she can look important, I want better for you. I want better for you. Akusa was said, side note, when Tamika said you can still go to jail, still funny to me. It's the way she said it because she was dead serious. Dead serious. JP said, I would love for Bravo to release the entire performance. I would too. It looked like a fun show. I will give it that. It looked like a fun show, but Understanding should have absolutely closed that show. I thought that week was going to eat. It didn't. Mrs. says, Coco let the crowd do most of the singing on week. She doesn't have to do much. Yeah, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't. Hey, Bombshell Blurb. She said that Tasha wasn't allowing her to talk though. LOL. They don't even know when she'll show up to stuff because she refuses to communicate. And then to go to the Lady of Soul Train Awards where they're being honored and wear that outfit. I'm telling y'all right now, the fans don't care. I feel like they do all of this stuff to like show the fans that there's beef. We don't care. Just saying. Like, we like the music. I don't care about all this other stuff that's going on. Like, wear what you're supposed to wear and perform. Let us think highly of you. I feel like social media has ruined celebrities. And maybe this is the end of them. Maybe they're all going down, but I feel like they need to get to the place where they stop talking to us. I feel like Beyonce is able to be who she is because she doesn't talk to us. And that's very smart of her to do. I feel like these celebrities should stop talking to us because at the end of the day, it is their team that makes them look palatable to the audience. As soon as they start talking, you're just like, oh my God, you're an awful person. I had no idea, right? So it's just like, y'all need to stop talking to us. Let your team talk to us. Let your team run your social media. All you got to do is perform and collect your check. You do not need to have a relationship with the fan base because a lot of y'all do not know how to maintain that. A lot of y'all are not nice people and y'all just need to perform. Let the team do the work. They have to go back to being elusive. They have to go back to just being silent. Let us hear from you when you're getting an award, but don't be doing them interviews, especially not them podcasts. My God, today, y'all burn faster than lightning. I was gonna say something about liquor, but that was mean. So I'm gonna just go lightning. Y'all just have to stop talking to us. George said, I think Tasha keeps changing her number to avoid talking. I think Tamika is seizing an opportunity presented. Now that makes sense. Thank you for that perspective. A Piece of Pie said, Funky Dunn even said Xscape should have sung Weak and vice versa. Oh, that would have been cute. That would have been cute. I don't know why they didn't mix it up. Egos. Akusa said the entourage is Rocky's doing. Absolutely. I'm telling you, if anything goes down, I'm more concerned for Tasha. Because when Rocky said he doesn't have a bank account, I was like, oh, girl. I feel like everything's going to be traced back to her. Drewski said, Tasha is fake for this. She knows she's guilty and keeps changing her tune. Child. I feel like she's going to sing like a canary. If the DA gets involved, she better. Because her mother going to sing. Mama, the fifth member of Xscape, is going to sing. Hey, Kathy. Kathy said, Tamika had 13 years to talk about the stolen money. Todd and Candy encouraged her to bring it up on camera, saying family drama makes great TV, in my opinion. Child. It did make great TV, though. Toxic TV. It wasn't a good look for your family, but you got us talking. You got us talking. I think they shouldn't. Missy said, do you think that both groups will put out new music? I hope not. I think they shouldn't. I think they have the classics, and that's just what they need to do. Because what music are you going to make today? I feel like the only group that could still make music and like new stuff and it work is the Isley Brothers. Like Rhonj Isley and the Isley Brothers. I feel like they're the only ones whose music can evolve with the time. I don't think a lot of people have been able to do that. So I think they just need to do the classics and leave it alone. I think Coco needs to continue to, I don't know if she's still doing it, but I feel like the gospel works well for her. She needs to probably stay in that arena as well. But I think they just need to stick with the classics. Oh, I didn't know that. Social Stuff said SWV came out 2 years before Xscape. The fan base is the same. Okay. I don't think so, though. At least not my interpretation. Because SWV, were they teens? I don't even know what the age difference is, because I feel like what I'm remembering back in the day is I felt like SWV was more women. And I felt like Xscape was teenagers because they were on like Rap Beat and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like teeny bopper magazines. And like SWV were like on the, was on like Ebony and stuff like that. But you would see Xscape on like Rap Beat and stuff like that. Them teeny boppers. Teen Beat. Y'all remember the magazines. Y'all remember the magazines. Social Stuff said, I'm the fan base. I was 12 when SWV came out, and definitely a fan of both. I feel like my mama put me on to them. Mrs. says, but my mom was a young mom, so who knows? Mrs. says, I think the intent of the show was to have a joint tour, but after all the issues during and after taping, it would never work. Yeah, see, this is the thing with reality TV. You follow the story. So initially, it could have been girl power, everybody comes together, and then all of this stuff starts happening, and that's what you got to follow. That's what you got to follow. Ryan said, I was shocked when I learned they came out like a year apart with the way everyone was talking. I think they, although they came out at the same time, I think they just were both marketed differently for different audiences. I wouldn't be surprised if she isn't shopping the show for her son. I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't, because her son absolutely loves the camera. And I felt like with him not wanting to go to dental school was because he wanted to be, in the entertainment industry. And these kids today love reality TV. So I can absolutely see him wanting to do something like that. But I don't think that Coco was in it like that. I don't think that Coco is in it like that. George says, I think the constant commentary doesn't help. There were a few speak on it with extra info that wasn't needed and candy coded clicks, retweets, and input. Yeah, I think that's what made everything worse because I didn't know they was beefing. I did not know that Lee was beefing. And, I didn't know none of that until, the speak on it and Twitter. And I'm like, y'all got to stop talking. Y'all got to stop talking. Bombshell Blurb said the speak on episodes have context versus SWV's Instagram with fans just jumping on talking trash. Yeah, I think it's also messy, to be honest with you. It doesn't help either group. Momi said SWV has never been a big production type of group. Their hit records are what folks are showing up for. True. Still, I understand why they've been an opening act all this time. Me too. I finally realized it. I was like, oh, okay. Listen, not everybody is a performer. Some people are just singers. Hello, Summer Walker. She hates performing, but she loves singing. She will eat a studio session up, but ask her to get on stage. She's just like, oh, she doesn't like doing it. And that's okay. That is okay. It's not happening, so Steph. I feel like that's done. I think that, the powers that be that put the show on pause realized they made a big mistake. And I don't know if they're going to ever be able to get that back. I don't think they'll be able to get that back. Rocky is 50? Well, he did some things. Black men don't look like that at 50. Tasha's 49. That's a good 49. That's a black 49. Okay, so they were both kids. See, this is the thing. I remember I was watching, I'm so ghetto. Hello. I was watching Who Shot Biggie? It was a family night, and that's what we were watching. We were watching that documentary. And I was like, oh my gosh, they were so young. They were so young. Tupac and Biggie died before their brains were fully developed. Like, they were teenagers in this industry, making all this money, having such huge global impact. So, I just feel like you just got to give these kids, like those people at the time were kids, you just got to give them a break. They were also young, making decisions that you should not be making at that age. So, just give them a break. But Rocky, what the hell were you in as a teenager? Yikes. Audrey said New York is not rich. Luann, Sonia, and Leah haven't portrayed wealth in a while. In a while, though. Luann was married to a count. Like, we're not gonna act crazy here. Sonia, Morgan Chase. Like, come on. She got a townhouse in Manhattan. We're not gonna play crazy. They might not have the money that they used to, but that's wealth. That's wealth. Hey, Missy, thank you so much for the super chat. Missy said, thoughts of the interview of Tasha and Tamika's father. I'm not into it. Oh, I don't know about that interview. Send me that. I'll do something on it on another time, but I didn't know about that. I did not know about that. Akusa said, I'm the kind of fan that unless you're Miss Patty or someone like that, I pay for you to sing, not for me to sing to you. I absolutely agree with you. I hate that. Please never point the mic to me. Never point the mic to the audience. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, if it's a cute little chorus thing and you do it once on like a really popular song, I'll take it, but not your whole set. You keep on pointing the mic to me. Well, why did I pay for you? You should be paying me because I'm performing now. I don't want to perform at your concert. Absolutely not. I do not want to perform. That one Shah said, even if Candy suggested it, you didn't have to put your family business on the street. This is messy. Absolutely. Extremely messy. G. Dot said, between social media and reality TV, I truly don't understand how Xscape managed to last as long as they have. It seems like they never had real peace in the group. Never. And they've been fighting like this since they was kids. They have been fighting like this since they were teenagers. My God, today. My God, to just miserable since you were 14 and 15. Nope. 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 George said, I'm not a fan. I'm not from America, but the vibe is totally different between the girls. And it shows. SWV seems very New York and Xscape does seem quite country. Oh yeah, absolutely. Have you heard Tiny? Wendy said, still 30K from me, and I didn't send you to prison. I could be messy if I want to on TV. Oh, listen, I'm not saying that she can't be messy, but I'm like, you can't keep on confronting this lady and then say you want to fix the relationship, because that's not helping. That's not helping. Word up and right on. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I remember seeing them. I felt like, I don't know. I just felt like SWV was women. Women. Oh, make it make sense. Thank you, Shannon Van, for the super chat. Yes, he better go ahead and get the tea. I gotta check that out. Thank you so much, Shan. I'm gonna get two more, and then we're gonna get into girls' trip. Sierra said Tamika did Candy's bidding for them to drop her in 6 months. LMAO. Was it worth it, Mika? What happened? Who dropped who? I thought they're still performing as a trio. Ash B313 said, wait. The crumbling house that Sonia is always crying about and trying to sell so she can regain wealth. All of that to say, yes, Sonia used to have money when she was married to money. Period. When she gave birth to money. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand we're talking broke, but we're talking wealth. This is broke, wealthy people broke, right? It's not broke like me. I'm speaking over myself. Forgive me, Lord. It's not broke like some people. Like, it's not working class broke, right? She always gonna make money, right? So her thing is, oh, I don't have. Sonya could be the person like, I don't have a lot of money while having 250K in one account. But to her, that's not a lot of money because she's used to having 30 million in just one account in America. So that's like what I'm talking about. Hey, Carmen. Carmen said, Xscape's not doing all that in their shows. They just have LED screens, stripper clothes, and backup dancers, but they themselves just kind of stand the same. I guess that's a lot. I felt like, I'm sorry, from what I saw, I felt like they were giving a lot more than SWV. And that's especially on them Scott sisters. Listen, Latasha, this was not a good look for her, but she's a performer. Oh, she was selling that. She was selling that for a 49-year-old woman. She sold it. She sold it. Kai said Tasha and Rocky aren't kindred spirits. People are kindred spirits. People like the Brat said she was like that when they were, she was like that when y'all were children? Yikes. We're going to end with Momi. Momi said, have you seen Candy's interview on Amanda Seales' YouTube channel? I did not even know she had a YouTube channel. She recorded it right before Queens of R&B aired. It seemed like it's the money that keeps Candy coming back. She don't like her group. A lot of us don't like the jobs we go. A lot of us don't like going to work or our coworkers, but it pays the bills. So I'm not going to fault her for that. Let's get into the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I'm not going to break down the show, right? I'm just going to talk about a few things off the dome. First thing I will say is, I don't like this show. I do not like this show. This show is very hard to review because it's just not a fun watch. It's not a fun watch. From Marisol and Alexia with their microaggressions to Candace screaming and crying all the time, to Portia gaslighting and bullying. I don't care what anybody says. Portia is bullying that woman because she can. And the reason why she's doing it is because she's doing it with a bigger bully as Giselle. I feel like Portia and Giselle have hijacked this show and has made it extremely miserable, and the awful people are linking together. The awfuls are Marisol and Alexia and Portia and Giselle. They have all come together and just formed this super group of hate, and it is just making this show unbearable to the point where them heifers broke Pepsi. The sweetest person we have met in all of Housewives history was broken by Gizelle. Oh, I have never wanted to fight anybody so much before. When Pepsi started all that crying, he was like, I want him to go. He said, I have never met such ungrateful people. Let me tell you something. This is why Pepsi broke down and was crying. It wasn't about the fighting. Them ladies been loud and ignorant and fighting. What broke Pepsi was the fact that, and you know this, one, if you travel a lot, and also if you are somebody who works in the travel industry, and especially like luxury travel, and you have to deal with people who have some kind of money, they are the worst kind of people to have to serve, right? I never worked in hospitality, but I used to work for this group of billionaire wives. There was an organization that I used to work for. I was an assistant for the CEO of this organization. And all of the ladies who were on the board were just wealthy white women whose husbands gave them this organization so they can have something to do, right? Being in a meeting with them for 15 minutes was some of the hardest minutes of my life that I had to endure. Wealthy people are awful. I don't know where anybody gets this idea that any of them are good. Wealthy people are awful. I don't think any of them are nice. That's why it says in the Bible, it is easier for a camel to get through an eye of the needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. The Lord know what he's talking about. Them rich people ain't making it in. Nasty, nasty people. Diabolical even, right? I feel like Pepsi broke down because Gizelle was terrorizing him and his staff, even production, about that bottle of liquor. I was just like, that's accessible anywhere. I could get that from Costco. Like, girl, what are you talking about? But I felt like Gizelle was not upset about her missing liquor bottle. I think she was just trying to make a moment, right? I think Gizelle was doing what she always does on Potomac, which is terrorizes Candace. Why? Why does the cast terrorize Candace? Or not even, I won't use that word, but why does the cast go after Candace? Because of the way Candace reacts. Oh my goodness. Candace was doing so well on Potomac. But for some reason, I guess she's at her wits' end and she's tired. Candace is just giving Gizelle the reaction she wants. And if you're somebody like Gizelle, if you are somebody who ghost produces all the time and sometimes does a really great job, you know who you're going to go after. That's why in the Real Housewives of New Jersey, Margaret and all them other heifers who want camera time always go after Jennifer because Jennifer's always going to react. No matter what, she's going to give you a reaction. So that is what she does, right? But I think what Gizelle is doing, she's doing something that works on her show that does not work in this environment. And I think that's why everybody is having a terrible time watching this show or can't really get into it because all of the ladies are doing stunts that work on their show. Nobody is checking into that this is a different environment, a different cast, a different production company, a different network. So nobody's trying to feel out where they're at, like what this is, and work with that. They're trying to bring what worked for them on their shows here, and it's just a cacophony of confusion and demonic forces of people just trying to get camera time by any means necessary, but it's not working because you're not in your environment or with your ensemble cast that works in. And so to be somebody who is working in service work to these people who are ungrateful, who are this Gizelle was walking around that place yelling at everybody to force Candace to do something, getting production together to force Candace to do something, talking to the staff, getting them together, telling them to find it. And I think that man just broke down under that because at the end of the day, he is responsible for if something is lost, or if the staff is uncomfortable. And I think he just broke under all of that, and that was really upsetting to watch. Because if you ever work with the wealthy, not wealthy, but you know what I mean. If you ever work with people who can afford such luxury travel, you know what you're getting. And I think poor Pepsi just had too much. And I don't think that Giselle was necessarily angry, but I think that she was looking for a moment. But she was just looking for a moment in the wrong environment. It just didn't work in this environment. And I think that's what they're all doing. That's why it's just like this cast just doesn't work. Candace, I don't know why Black women always want to protect Leah. I don't get it. I think Leah sees Black women as protectors, and also sees Black women as a Trojan horse, right? That will be able to get her from A to Z without her doing any of the work. Because I saw Leah from afar attaching herself to Candace before Candace saw it. Candace, I'm tired. I'm tired. I feel the same way about you that I feel about Dr. Nicole and Jennifer Aiden. I don't know what more to say. I don't know what more to say. How you did not see that Leah was riling you up with Portia because she felt rejected by the cool girl. I don't know how you did not see her putting the battery in your back to fight her battles. How you did not see that, girl? What's going on? I'm exhausted. I'm so exhausted. I'm like, she even said it. She was just like, well, I'm going to go. I want to be in Candace's room, and I'm going to be with Candace because Candace is nice to me. But while she's with Candace, she's, dropping all of her problems on her, right? And Candace is coming in and trying to save the day when she got other beef brewing, right? Now, let's talk about her issues with Portia. Here's the thing. Portia don't like pushback, especially to people who she thinks she's better than. We got to tell the truth and shame the devil. Let's take a pin in that for real quick. Portia, I think you need to be done with these one-off reality TV shows. I think you work better in the cast of Atlanta because there's a certain amount of protection that your image had that it don't have on these other shows. Your separate show, you were not protected on that show. They showed you in the light that even your stands had to be like, well, maybe my girl is crazy, right? And then we get here to this show. Terrible look. Terrible. There is nothing redeemable about you on this show. I'm watching every episode and I'm like, oh, it gets worse. Like, I knew Giselle was going to be awful. I knew what to get from her. But I thought you were going to be fun. And it's not a good look. I think you need to be done with these shows. I think unless it's Atlanta, I don't think you should do reality TV because it's not working for you. I don't think you should give it another chance for another side of you to be shown. I don't think it's working out for you. Now let's hop back into what's happening with Portia and Candace. Portia and Candace are going through this issue. And I'm saying this not as an observer or as somebody who watches the show as a fan of reality TV or whatever. I'm telling you as somebody who knows what I'm talking about. Now, y'all can get me on other stuff, but this right here, I am right. I have receipts, but I can't post them. But what I'm telling you right now, what I'm telling you is correct. Atlanta, Beverly Hills are the HBICs of Bravo. Not even Below Deck, which gets numbers that none of them broads can get on a regular. But they are not the focal point of Bravo. And I'm talking about the Bravo celebrities, people who want to come on this show, people who have been on these Bravo shows for a very long time. I'm telling you, the white girls on Bravo obsess over Beverly Hills. They are all of the white housewife or white led shows are obsessed with Beverly Hills. All of the black shows on Bravo are obsessed with Atlanta. Candace, you may deny this, but when you saw Portia, you were enamored. Why? Because you are Potomac. And those Atlanta girls were the ones who set the tone for you, who kicked open the door for you. So when you met Portia, it was like it was like an alumni that came back to your high school, but it was like somebody who was just revered at your high school. And you were so excited to meet her. And when your initial meeting didn't go the way you wanted, you were crushed by that, because this is somebody that you look up to. Now, you deny it. Why wouldn't you? I would too. But I know that the black women at Bravo are obsessed with Atlanta, because Atlanta has done what a lot of them have not been able to do just yet. The night is still young. Y'all can catch them. Y'all may surpass them, but nobody will ever be able to do what they did because they did it first, right? And the white girls are the same way with Beverly Hills. We'll get to the white girls, right? But let me stay there with these two. So what happened with Candace is that she was crushed that Portia did not receive her in the way she wanted. She wanted Portia to take her under her wing. She wanted her and Portia to be good Judys. And because Portia became a good Judy with Giselle, she could not get in that space that she wanted to with Portia, because her and Giselle were beefing. And by the time she was able to make any leeway with Portia, Giselle had already fed her everything that happened on their season from her perspective. Now, I don't know if Portia feels this way, but I feel like if she has now watched Potomac, I think she probably going to back out of defending Giselle. I think that I could be wrong, right? So I think because Portia did not embrace her the way she wanted to embrace her, I think Candace felt crushed, because even Portia said it. Portia's just like, what is the problem? Like, why, when I say something, it's such a big deal, such a big letdown to you? And I'm like, Portia, because she looks up to you. She looks up to you. Like, she was so happy to be on the same show as you. And even though fans were saying things, she did not care, because this is somebody who she was very enamored by. And then, they always say you should never meet your heroes. You meet this broad and she's linking up with your archenemy, right? So it's just not a good, oh wait, this is still braided, a good time for her. So that is why Candace is so emotional concerning, more emotional than we're used to, right? But that's why she's so emotional about Portia's rejection. And Portia hasn't picked it up yet. Although I feel like the Atlanta girls know, I don't think they know how enamored the Black Bravo celebrities are with them. Because when Atlanta walks in the room, Atlanta walks in the room. Now, they might not be doing well now, but they're still Atlanta. They did what a lot of them shows could never do. Atlanta was the first show that was getting 1 million+ views before any of them did it, right? So they are those girls. So I think that's what's going on with Candace and Portia right now. And Portia just has yet to check in to it. And she's also being fed all this mess by Giselle. But I'm like, yo, you in your 40s, you should know by now that you probably shouldn't be digesting one side of the story. But her and Giselle, for some reason, are kindred spirits. And it's just not a good look for either one of them. I also feel like Giselle and Candace, especially with the season that they just had, should not have been on this show, because what they brought was the toxic mess from their show. They brought it to this show. So Giselle, Portia, and Candace, their drama is taking over, mainly Giselle and Candace. Their beef is just taking over the show, and not much could happen because everybody's so wrapped up into them and their mess, and it's just not a fun watch. I'm not looking forward to Thursday's episode. I'm not. I'm looking forward to Love is Blind, but I'm not looking forward to this because it's just so freaking just frustrating and annoying and just messy. It's not even fun messy. Like none of it is fun. Everybody is just so nasty. And I'm like, we're supposed to enjoy you guys. Like, we're supposed to enjoy you on this show if we didn't enjoy you on your show. This is where you come to redeem yourself, and the fans are able to see a different side of you. I feel like everybody has just shown the worst side. I don't have much to say about Whitney and Heather because I think, again, I don't think that they should have women on the show who just completed their season who has issues, because they bring it into this show. And I feel like the same thing that's happening with Candace and Giselle is happening with Heather and Whitney. And again, it's just not fun to watch. But I guarantee you, if Vanderpump was on this trip, if Richards was on this, any other Richards sisters was on this trip, if Kathy was on this trip, anybody from Beverly Hills was on this trip, Whitney and Heather would be salivating, because the Beverly Hills girls are to the white women of Bravo what Atlanta is to every and any Black person that walks into the Bravo studio. That's all I have to say. I don't know if I'm gonna keep on reviewing this show. I'm gonna watch Thursday's episode and see, but as of right now, it's just not fun. It's not fun. And the weather is getting nice. Outside is looking promising. I don't know if I'm feel like, taking an hour out of my day to watch this miserable show. I don't know. What do you guys think? Thank you, Sebastian, for the super chat. Sebastian said, not to sound classist, but I would have hurt Giselle's feelings over that tequila. While a beautiful bottle, Class Azul has as much prestige as Hypnotic at this point. This was such egregious behavior. Yeah, I was just like, I'm telling you, I just saw this in Costco. Like, it's not like discontinued or highly sought after. Like, you can get this just about at any Mexican restaurant in LA. Like, it's not hard. You can get this at Costco. You can get this at Vallarta. Like, it's accessible. So I did not understand the big deal that she was making, but it was very obvious that she was trying to make a moment, because she does it on her show, but she just doesn't have the wherewithal to know it doesn't work in this environment. Yakriti said, I am mad that Kankles went full Karen and bringing Pepsi to tears. I think he was crying because of the staff. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. He's responsible for that staff. And she's going around terrorizing everybody on staff. It just makes it a really uncomfortable place. And you cannot tell me that these people are not triggered from being treated like that before. This is not the first time some American or somebody with a little bit of coin has come to this, to this resort or wherever they're staying, this Airbnb or whatever, and mistreated them. It's triggering. And it was just very ugly. But a Karen gone Karen. Karen is going to Karen. Give Me Shelter said Real Housewives Ultimate Good Girls Trip was good. Its first season. Yeah, it was. I know Peacock was retired to make the trips or tried to make the trips toxic after the seasons, but I don't feel like they needed to. I feel like Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip could just be a redemption show, right? For people who probably have an awful edit, so we can actually see them in a different environment. This just didn't work out well. Akosa was said, microaggressions make me want to fight. Very upsetting. Yeah, just sitting there watching Marisol and Alexia tell Candace to calm down, when Marisol was just like, we don't talk like that here, and was doing this hand motion to Candace. I was like, oh, girl. This is a bad look for you. The way I would have broke that frail hand, ciao, ciao. Wendy said, "Yep, it's the money. LOL. I am going to go back to a job I quit um, before the beginning of the panorama because I need the coin." Yeah, a lot of us work at jobs we don't feel like it, but we do it. I worked at Kmart. Worst job of my life. No, I'm lying. 7-Eleven was the worst job. 7-Eleven. Oh my God. My grandmom got me the job and it was down the street from her house. OMG. She would come into that job all the time and just for nothing. She would get a coffee, but she was just coming there because I was there, and she would walk in there, act like she didn't know me. I would, help her with her. I would, check her out or whatever. And she would be like, "Oh my goodness, you are so kind. What a great worker you are." And I'm like, "Lady, I look just like you. Everybody knows that we're related in some kind of way. Please just leave. Please just leave." Oh my, she would come in there for absolutely nothing, but just to let the manager know that I was doing a great job. I miss her. Mrs. says, "It's not fun because of Giselle. She's overproducing." Absolutely. More than what she does on Real Housewives of Potomac. It's not fun to watch her do that in this environment. The bombshell blurb said, "Give Pepsi his own show." I think they should. I think they should, or they should just make this location the place where they send everybody, and make Pepsi a part of it, like they do in Bachelor in Paradise, or make Pepsi the host of wherever place that they send them. Because he's such good TV. He's so sweet. And when he broke down crying, I was like, "Oh, Giselle, the fans are going to jump you." I'm much more interested in what he and his staff are doing than these heifers. Yeah, they're not fun. They're not fun. So Steph said, "Portia and Giselle have definitely hijacked the show, and it's so juvenile to try and get producers to search Candace's room over some tequila. What a classless woman." Yeah, and just making everybody miserable, screaming and yelling, walking through the house, "Pepsi, Pepsi." I would have been like, "What?" And then all of a sudden, if Pepsi would have, matched her energy, "Oh, I can't believe he's talking to a woman like that. Oh, she's such a Karen. Oh, oh." Mademoiselle H said, "Their seasons were not even good enough to bring them back to us." 3 months later. Yeah, I feel like especially Giselle and Candace, after the season they had, they should not have been on this show. Not together. You would have done better by bringing either Giselle or Robin or Wendy and Candace. But to bring those two, toxic. Toxic. Blue Jay says, "Does Candace have any comrades? Because it just seems like enemies on your left and right, microaggressions, bullying." I don't know. I do not know. She honestly just seems like the freshman at any and every university. That one freshman that will not stay under the thumb of the seniors. The one freshman that talks back, that one pledge that's not doing everything, absolutely not. That one pledge that won't let you beat them, that's what she gives off. That's what she gives off. And it's like they cannot take. Miss GG88 said Giselle's carrying on about this bottle was ridiculous. It was. It just went on for far too long. And then like forcing them to go through her luggage. Ew. Akusa said, according to Rodney, that bottle couldn't be more than 150. How broke is she? Yeah, it's not an expensive bottle. It's not expensive at all. I think I saw that bottle on like Poshmark or something. Like, it's not expensive. Megan said Candice had it right when she was acting like a Karen. She was. She was. We all know that. Like, we've all who've ever worked in hospitality or retail, we all know a Giselle. We've experienced that multiple times. IA said, "Same, Nikki. I wouldn't say I like this show too. The last episode really upset me. Jiz is so awful, unaware that her accusations could affect the staff's job." Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing. You can tell she don't go to nothing like this. You can tell like this ain't what she do, right? Because the fact that she didn't know that she would come off awful. I'm telling you, she absolutely produced that scene thinking she was going to look another way. Now, mind you, she had just finished filming her season where she thought it was going to go another way. So the show had not come out yet. So she don't even know at this point. She's filming this show not knowing that the fan base is turning against her. So she don't even know what's really going on. So she's doing all of this thinking that she's had a successful season. So she's taking that into this season and telling everybody that basically Candace is over exaggerating what happened and making herself the victim so people could flock to her. So this is all her doing. So all that apology that she was doing at the reunion and all that stuff, all of that wasn't real. All of that wasn't real. Mrs. said, and Portia is just following Giselle's lead. They're playing the Mean Girls character. Yeah, it's like the girl keep on crying. Why you keep on making comments? Why you keep on, just poking her, knowing that one, she wants to be your friend, right? Because I'm not going to say that Atlanta don't know who they are, right? I feel like Atlanta knows who they are, especially two Black people in the Bravo world. They know who they are. So it's like, this ain't the first time you've come across someone who is a part of the Bravo universe, who is Black, who is looking at you with puppy dog eyes. Like, you know what it is. So why are you acting like she's putting 20 on 10 when you know why she's looking at you like that? Because you're, basically a core member of the Atlanta franchise. Don't play dumb. Because you even admitted, Portia, that you play dumb, but you're very smart. And you are. I will give her that. BC says, you're right, because Whitney keeps on bringing up Heather still being Mormon and nobody cares. Yeah, they're bringing their stuff from their season to the show. And I'm just like, yeah. I don't think they should bring ladies right after they film their season. Now bring them right before they film. You know what I mean? Or even during, maybe not during. Yeah, I feel like right after their season, no. Kai said, I'm not going to be policing Candace's reactions, especially after Gizzard says she doesn't start anything in the early episodes. You won't, but I will. Because I just feel like she has to know that these people poke her because she gets a reaction. Like, you got to know the game at this point. And every time falling for the same trick is not helpful to you. It just plays on your mental. It's like you got to get hip to it, mama. You got to get hip. Blue Jay said, you're the second person I heard saying rich people are horrible. Oh, terrible people. Terrible human beings. Wendy said, child, I can't be in job serving mofos like turkey neck. I would have flipped the table. Listen, at my last job, I was like, oh, I'm good. I remember the last thing that my boss said to me before I walked out of the job. And she had to be terrible because I walked out before lunchtime. So I didn't even get paid for the whole day. I walked out before lunchtime. She said, Nicole, my problem with you is that you do what you're told and that's it. I said, well, that's my job. Like, I'm your assistant. What you need me to do, I do it. I'm not going above and beyond for this job that I hate. You're crazy. Like, I couldn't believe she said that to me. And I left her office. I walked to my desk. I sat down and I turned to my work bestie, who I'm still really good friends with today. And I was like, I've enjoyed working with you, but I'm going home now. She was like, oh, are you sick? I was like, sick of this job. Clicked off my computer, cleaned out my desk. She was like, you're quitting? And then she was told all of like our work besties. They all came over trying to convince me to stay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving. And then like one of my other work besties from the other department, she came over. She's just like, I wish I could walk out with you. I cleared out my desk. I got everything. I packed it up. I walked to my car. And by the time I got out that parking lot, I sent my resignation letter. Absolutely not. I don't care how much money you have. You're not going to talk to me like that. I will go back to working at the Gap. Okay? Before I get treated like garbage by you. You and them crow's feet, the devil is a liar. Megan said, at the end of the day, Candace been had beef for Portia, and Candace was also excluded from the post. I think she would have addressed it either way. Oh, thank you so much for bringing it up, because I forgot to talk about that, Megan. So let's talk about that real quick, and then we'll close out with Jersey. Candace was right. Candace was right that Portia was being petty. Now, Portia even admitted it. Everybody, my issue is that everybody was acting like she was doing too much when she said that this is bullying, right? I was like, now everybody's acting like they don't know what the woman is talking about. You know that Potomac and Atlanta have both, unfortunately, have extremely toxic fan bases, right? You know that there is a core in each fan base that is feral, just demonic rabid beasts who look for hate and confusion, right? They are the devil's spawn and they want to get stuff going. So when you post a picture and you don't tag two people, what do you think is going to happen? And exactly what Candace said was going to happen happened, because all of the blogs started talking about Portia not tagging Candace. Y'all didn't care nothing about Leah. It was all, there's some beef going on because Portia's not tagging Candace. And what Candace was saying is that something like that is going to activate the feral beast in each fan base, and that is going to bring her more hate than she already gets from her own fan base. So now she got Atlanta, the Portia stands, the feral ones, are going to start coming after her. And what she said would happen, happened. We're not going to all sit up here and act like everybody wasn't speculating and dragging Candace and she's fighting for her life on Twitter. Like, let's be real here. What she was talking about was true. It actually is a form of bullying because you are activating your fan base against somebody that you do not like. So everybody's like, oh, bullying, that's a big word. Oh, please, don't gaslight the girl. She was right. She was absolutely right. George said there are more personalities that can deflect from Portia's bad ways when she's on Atlanta. Absolutely right. We have since learned that. Sebastian, thank you so much for the super chat. Sebastian said, not to sound class. Oh, I got this one. All righty. Let me get some older comments, some newer ones, and then we'll close out with Jersey. IA said, Leah's just nasty. How can you be on your period, have diarrhea, and not wear underwear? Oh, I love you guys. Remember when Leah was cast for the Real Housewives of New York? And everybody was just like, who is this? And I was like, oh, you guys have no idea what's about to be on your TV screens. If you don't know Leah McSweeney, then you don't know that she's a free bleeder. She had an entire Instagram dedicated to her period. And what she would do is, she's a free bleeder, so she would take pictures of her bleeding everywhere, all over New York. And she would write an introduction or just like a description of the day. Like, I distinctly remember one, and I only know this because I was following her Instagram, and she posted a pic that she had on her period Instagram to advertise that on her main Instagram. And I remember the most I can remember about that description, because it was a picture of her feet, and her feet were covered in blood because she was obviously on her period. And the comment was basically about how red her period was today and that day. And she was just like, she's at her reddest right now, which means that I'm at my horniest or something like that. And that was like her whole, Instagram identity on that page. So I wasn't shocked. Everybody was like, oh, this is nasty. Leah on her period and she ain't got panties. I was like, well, free bleeders don't wear panties. If anything, I think she probably just had a tampon on. But if a little bit got somewhere, she don't care. She's a free bleeder. So If you are just coming into this live, hi. Mademoiselle said Giselle showed herself to be broken, classless, yelling in Thailand about a bottle that cost $140. A mess. I never disliked Marisol. And then we get to Thailand. And I was like, ooh, this is nasty. We don't talk like that here. Oh, the way I went up, girl. She was so precious. So precious. Obi said, my question is, there are so many current and old housewives. Why bring the same cast for Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip referring to season 4? Brandy already had her stint and they just had to bring her back. Now look, I think because they're bringing who's ever available, because they're filming these shows the same time the rest of the ladies are filming their seasons. But I'm like, you keep on doing this all-star show, which you should have hired me for. You probably would have had better results. I'm just telling the truth. It's my idea. But you're doing these all-star shows when you need to be rebooting Roni with the original cast. That's where your time should be. Sierra said, I like the chaotic mess. Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 3 has to be screaming. But the Potomac girls and Whitney were being annoying the last 2 episodes. Yeah, it was too much. It was too much. Kathy said, Nikki, I love your reviews. You speak facts and more facts. Thank you so much. Thank you. Miss T said, Giselle is working overtime. A bottle? Really? I couldn't believe she was hurt by that. I was just like, this show's supposed to be about wealth. Y'all supposed to be moneyed up. You can't buy multiples? And why are you trying to take the bottle home with you? It's giving broke. The Bombshell blurb said, didn't Candace say that last Lady Cake was accused of Black Mirror production too, and said the masseuse was trying to... So Steph said the bottle is a total of $169.99. I don't think she knows how accessible that is. I think that's the first time she's seen that tequila in that bottle, and she's seen it in Thailand. So I think she thinks that she's taking something rare back to the United States. Why is she on a show about wealth? It wasn't the bottle, Missy. The bottle wasn't missing. The bottle was actually put up, and I think the staff put it up in the liquor section, and Giselle didn't see it. And I think that's probably another reason why Pepsi is crying, because somebody in his staff probably put that there. And, you know, the person's probably afraid because of the way Giselle is going about the house and just yelling at everybody. And it just puts a lot of pressure on that guy. Poor thing. Tracy said, Portia and Monique are friends outside of the show. They have been on multiple vacations together over the years. I don't know why Candace wants to be her friend so bad. Well, she's Atlanta. I'm telling you, Atlanta are those girls at Bravo. I'm telling you. We might just think we're watching a reality TV show, but Atlanta and Beverly Hills are the Beyoncés of Bravo. Everybody looks up to them. Listen. Quick story. I'm serious about this. She tried to deny my unemployment, and she thought I wasn't going to show up to unemployment court. Oh, I showed up in my 2-piece suit with my Bible. It wasn't a game, and I beat her. I won. Because this is the thing. I'm my mother's child. Okay, I'm Miss Melanie's daughter. I documented everything. I showed up with my receipts. The judge was just like, you can't do this. Like everything that she was saying that she could do, he was like, you can't do this. That's not her job description. You're mad at her. You tell her right here in her report that she's a great worker, but then you get mad at her because she's not doing beyond what she's paid to do. If you want her to do more, promote her. I was like, I know that's right, unemployment judge. I beat her good and clean. And then she's going to try to make up. I could not believe it. When we were leaving the courtroom, she was just like, I hope that this doesn't, stop us from being friends. Friend? Girl, I never liked you. Girl, not only did I get my unemployment, I got back pay. The stuff that she was trying to hold up from me. So, baby, when I got my coin, I was a lot younger, so I was a little bit ignorant. I should have put that on bills. But you know, I was living la vida loca. DGF627 said, why can't they cast for fun instead of conflict? The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, for example, Roni and St. Bart's with the Johnny Depp look-alike. Why cast Carolyn on the show with Brandy? Yeah, like I don't think they understand what the energy is there yet, but I feel like the fans are telling them, we want this to be fun. We want this to be fun. Take that other nonsense somewhere else. We want to have fun here. Blue Jay said, I've also criticized their workers for not doing the work they wouldn't do. The whole narrative of being a boss is therefore you wouldn't do overtime for the boss. Hey. Hello. Yeah, it was a dog whistle for certain fans, George. So I'm like, y'all act like y'all don't know what Candace is saying. Because what that woman said, what happened. Them Portia stands got activated. But you know what? Shout out to the Portia stands. How y'all doing? I saw y'all having a meltdown the last episode. Yeah. Your girl is showing out. Obi said, let me be the first to say it. This wasn't the most optimal cast to take on the trip. The chemistry is off with almost all of them. You are right. It's not clicking. And the dynamic duos are either on the wrong side of the arguments, confused or lackluster. You're right. Shawnette, what's up? Shawnette said, I'm so glad you're saying that. People were acting like we didn't see them terrorize Candace season 5. Like we all saw it happen in real time. She's right. Hey, Lisa. Lisa said, good evening, Nikki and Star fam. I'll be in the replay gang, still trying to watch Love is Blind 4. Oh my gosh. It's a lot. Drewski said, to quote Tiffany New York Polar, there's something very good. I remember I was like, y'all don't know Leah McSweeney? Oh, you're in for a lot. She is a lot. Like Roni didn't touch the surface of who that woman was. They didn't let her cook. So Steph said, I also feel like Portia feels like she's in charge of the girls on here because she constantly got sunned on Atlanta about being dumb. On Atlanta, she is in the Candace spot. Very true. Yeah, very true. Give me shelter. Yeah, she probably had a Diva Cup or a tampon in. But that's only because of the show. She's a free bleeder, baby. She had a whole Instagram account about her bleeding all over New York City. Wendy said, child, when I go on vacation, I bring 2 pairs of undies each day I am gone. So 12 equals 24 to 30 underwear. I'm sorry, that's gross. Listen, I'm not judging the free bleeders. I'm just saying that's what Leah does. You've never heard of that, Elizabeth? Did you have a Tumblr? Hey, Shonda said, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining NikkiStar Live. Please like and subscribe for more great content. Thank you, Shonda. 3 more and then we'll close out with Jersey. Mrs. said, Lanithia can make an appearance on Real Housewives of Girls Trip since it's on Peacock and not Bravo. Hopefully. Period. I got all my coin. Mademoiselle said, did you hear how Giselle accused a Black production employee of stealing her cell phone? I didn't hear about it, but I'm not surprised. Amina, hey, says, I feel like this cast needs someone who has a backbone to Portia and Giselle. It needs a Kenya or a Karen. Here is why I think if they did have that, it would be even worse. Because Portia and Giselle are already so toxic together. And then you have Marisol and Alexia, who are not just toxic. They're also being, throwing a lot of microaggressions towards Candace, right? And probably Portia and Giselle, just not on camera. So it's like you just have so many toxic people. Then you bring in a Kenya or a Karen to get them together. I think it would just, the toxicity would explode and it would just be too much. It would just be too much for even the cast to handle. If this cast alone broke Pepsi, what you think Kenya gonna do when she start getting them together? Oh no, it won't be. It'll be too much. It'll be too much. Um. Anyway, let's close out with Jersey, and not in a bad way. I'm not saying that Kenya would be negative or anything like that. I'm just saying that you're going to get Portia and Giselle push it back. Then it's going to be all of this fighting. It'll never be any fun, and that's what Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip is supposed to be. Jersey. Oh, hold on, because I was about to drag, but I don't want to drag just yet. I don't want to drag just yet because oh no, what's going on my phone? I hate when she does this. No. All right. All right. Then I'm going to drag first then. We drag first until my phone gets better. Jersey. Andy! Please. We have got to do something with these families. One of them got to go. One set of the feuding families have got to go. If you're not going to get rid of Teresa and Louis, get rid of the Gorgas. One of them got to go. It's too much. We cannot learn about anybody else because Teresa and Melissa and Joe and Red Louis are just sucking the life out of everybody. Even Margaret is not enjoyable anymore because she's so wrapped up in just this family mess. I feel like everybody that gets involved in this family drama just becomes unenjoyable to watch. Like, it's just, you gotta do something, brother. You gotta do something. It's too much. It's so like depressing watching this show. Melissa, why would Teresa invite your mother to the show when your mother, and even Andy clocked your mama's receipts, have dragged her for years? Like, it don't make sense. Like, this does not make sense. You don't like Teresa, y'all fighting. Your mama and your sister don't like Teresa. They've been fighting her for damn near a decade. But you want her to invite your family to her wedding and you not even going? Like, I just feel like Teresa, bless her heart, is an argument articulation coach a thing? Because I feel like Teresa, you don't know how to argue. I think Teresa from Paterson, New Jersey, I don't think she's ever been in verbal arguments, right? I think this show is the first time in her life where she's had to settle a disagreement with her words. I feel like she's always been a knucking and a bucking kind of chick, right? Break the bottle off on somebody's head kind of chick. I don't think Teresa did too much talking. Miss Prostitution Whore, slamming tables, slamming Andy on reunions. I think that's her. I think she stayed here. And when she has to articulate her thoughts, don't work out. It don't work out. I don't know what's happening, but I feel like what's up here, it's not connecting with here. So when stuff comes out, you don't seem sane. And I think it's because you're just not used to fighting with your words. I think you a fisticuff kind of chick. And I understand. I'm in Philadelphia. I get it, right? But I know how to verbally fight, right? By the time I get here, the words have been back and forth. I done gotcha with my words, right? I don't think Teresa's able to do that. And I think because of that, she just can't get her point across, and she's always losing arguments with Melissa. I don't know why she even tries at this point, but I feel like if she could articulate her argument properly, we will see that Teresa's right. And I don't care if nobody don't like her. You better go back and watch all them Carlos videos that he did about the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I'm going to believe him. Here's why. He was a producer on that show. I'm not going to listen to nobody else. I'm not listening to no fan. I'm not listening to no Bravo page. I'm going to listen to the dude who was producing that show for about 3-4 years. I'm going to listen to him. And I'm going to take his perspective as bond over anything else, right? So he was the one who was the one in all of his reviews or whatever, who was talking about how Joe and Melissa been wanting to get on the show, but Teresa did not want them on the show because she was in a bad place with her brother and she did not want to fight her family on the show. They got on the show without Teresa. So Teresa did not know that they were coming. Like, they got on being her family, but their thing was, we're getting on the show and we have beef with her and we'll address it on camera. That's how they got on the show. So Teresa is right in saying she never wanted them on the show because her and her brother were not in a good place and she did not want to fight with her family. She was fighting with everybody else. She didn't want to fight with her brother. And remember, when we saw her brother, we saw her brother try to beat up Teresa at the christening. Why does everybody forget that? I think the people who do not like Teresa forget that a whole group of men had to hold her brother back from blacking both her eyes. Why does everybody forget that? I ain't never forgot that. I was just like, if those men were not there, what would he have done? Right? So this is the issue. I think Joe and Melissa keep all of this mess going because I don't think Joe and Melissa got anything going on. And I think what they have going on, they don't want us to talk about. Same thing with little Miss Margaret. So I feel like they keep a lot of stuff going with Teresa because I just don't understand, Melissa. If you don't like Teresa, why do you want to be in her wedding? Why do you want your mother and your sister to come and they don't like her? And then you get mad at her because she's okay with them not coming and you not being in the wedding. I just feel like the lady can't win. Like, you made a big deal about not wanting to be in the wedding. Then all of a sudden you wanted to be in a wedding. Then Teresa asked you to be in a wedding. Oh no, I'm not going back to an abusive boyfriend. You brought it up. You brought it up. I just feel crazy watching this show. And I think, just like Potomac, I think this fan base is very toxic and they like who they like. But I'm like, we gotta be real with what is being presented. Even Jennifer was just like, you are the only one keeping this going, Melissa. Like, every time when we first met Joe and Melissa this season, who were they talking about? Teresa. Teresa planning her freaking wedding with her red husband. She's not thinking about them. They're talking about Teresa. Y'all talk about her in every episode. I don't know what's going on with Envy. I don't know if it's foreclosing. I don't know if it's money laundering. I don't know what's going on with Envy. Does Melissa have friends? We ain't never met them. We ain't never met anybody from her community. We met them sisters and a mama like twice. Probably as an extra in the scene. We don't know nothing about this broad. We don't know nothing about Joe. He builds houses. He builds pizza ovens. Now he's a landlord. And the only reason why I know that he's a landlord is because he was fighting with one of his residents on TikTok. Do y'all remember that video? Like, we don't know nothing about these people. But all we know is that they do not like Teresa, and I'm tired. I feel like if they were bringing more to the show, then they can talk their talk, but they cannot say anything when they do not contribute. They don't. All they do is fight with this lady. I don't know how she keeps on showing up to film. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. The minute Melissa will look at me, I would be like, I'm leaving. And I know that I can shut this show down because I know who the hell I am. I shut it down before when I went to prison. I'll shut it down now and none of you hoes will ever eat. That's what I would do if I was Teresa. I would not keep on showing up. I would not, because if you don't show up, what they going to talk about? What they going to talk about? What is Jackie going to chime in about if Teresa don't show up? Absolutely not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. I'm tired. I'm tired, Andy. We got to do something. We got to do something. I will say this. I feel like I'm too young for this show. Do y'all feel like that? I was watching Jersey and I'm like, are we talking about banging James Gandolfini? I'm too young. I'm too young for this show. They were like, oh, you had sex with James Gandolfini. And I'm like, that old man from The Sopranos. I feel so young watching Jersey. I'm like, is this who we are? Is this what's happening? I'm too young for this show. I was like, oh, this is the big thing? James Gandolfini. Okay. Wow. Um, Jen Fessler. She don't fit, guys. She is something. She not working. She is not working with this show. Anyway, on this episode, the ladies go to Ireland. You hear that, Potomac? They went to Ireland. Ireland. Jersey. Went to Ireland before you. Ciao. Ciao. With the numbers you do, y'all better wake it up. Y'all better wake it up. So they go to Ireland because Dolores's man is Irish. I would have never known that. I would have never known that. Can I just be real with you? Jersey and Philly, no shade. Sometimes the Irish and Italians, please. The Irish and Italian community, I know y'all still beefing. Don't drag me. Sometimes y'all mesh together. Sometimes you really can't tell the difference. The Jersey and the Philly one. Sometimes you're like, oh, okay. I would have never thought that. So we meet Dolores's man's family, and they're from Ireland. And she says that the first trip they ever took was to Ireland. So she wanted to take the ladies there, and they go to Ireland, and they stay in this castle. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I have every intention of going, traveling to Ireland. I think it's a really beautiful place. But these castles, I was looking at castles in Ireland, in Italy, and in Paris. The castles aren't given what they charging. I know it's a castle. I know it's historic, but the paint cracking on a wall, everything looking like it looked in the 1600s, that's cute for a museum. Where am I going to lay my head? This place was a little shifty for me, but that's how those places look over there. I think they just don't want to touch them. They want to preserve them. But I'm like, at least update the plumbing. Anyway, the ladies get to this castle. Beautiful place, a little worn for my taste, but it's a castle. You gotta preserve it. I will say, if I was Margaret and Melissa, I would have a little problem with my room. I'm not coming all the way to Ireland, and I'm staying in the servants' quarters. Absolutely not. Now, I am always the one that's just like, these ladies are being so immature about rooms. But if there was ever a time to turn up about rooms, this was the time. Those rooms were embarrassing. And Melissa was like, I don't really care because I'm going to sleep in Jackie's room. So I don't need to have a really nice room. You're a grown woman saying you don't got to have a nice room on vacation? It's giving broke. It's getting broke. Anyway, while they are on this Ireland trip, Jennifer slips up and let the ladies know that she prepped the psychic that knew everything. Jennifer fed her all of this information. I will say, when Jennifer lies, she can't keep her lie. She will expose that lie in a second, but she ends up getting into it with Margaret. And this is why I talked about that. I feel like I'm at the same place with Dr. Nicole, Jennifer Aiden, and Candace, because Margaret just starts cussing her out. All the ladies just start cussing her out. And Jennifer just takes it. Like, she goes back, but it's just like, girl, you can clear them with one sentence. You have it in you, but I feel like she holds back because Teresa does not have her back like she has hers. I don't know. If they come back another season and it's the same cast, I think Teresa will end up having her back because she's all over her Instagram and they seem to be really, really, a lot closer now. So maybe Teresa will have Jennifer's back a bit more, but she really has not had her back for a while. So I get her not really holding her ground, but I'm like, Margaret, I don't care what Margaret got. She will never have me gripped up like she got these old women gripped up. Everybody is afraid of her. Everybody is afraid to say something because Margaret got the tea. Then get the tea on Margaret. Her ex-best friend is trying to get on this show, and everybody's just like, oh no, we're not going to talk to her. Are you kidding me? The fan base was cussing Jennifer out, saying, oh my gosh, Jennifer, I can't believe you're even entertaining Margaret's friend. I absolutely would. every freaking scene I would have by myself, I would be filming with that lady. They too soft for me. Margaret don't play soft, so I don't know why everybody else is playing soft. Every scene that I had by myself outside of the group setting would be me and this lady at the Cheesecake Factory with me taking notes about everything that she got to say. Every secret in Margaret's arsenal, I would be writing it down. I would not be on camera like, I don't want to say it. I can't. Oh no, it's bad. It's bad. I would be like, oh, so this is the first thing that she told me. One, Joe was broke. He on his way to prison. Two, Margaret been a host and she was 17. I would be telling everybody's business. I don't understand why Jennifer is playing coy and soft when these people ain't never played coy and soft with her. Girl, it's time for revenge. You got to burn something down before you can build it back up. I will say this though, Jen. Your beef is with Margaret. If you and Melissa made up, I don't know why you were telling this secret about Melissa making out in the back of the car with some guy. Like, even if it's true, or even if it's some gotcha tea, you don't got that bestie ain't tell you no tea on Margaret. Why are you spilling Melissa's tea and you and her are supposed to be cool? That was just weird to me. That was the only thing. But I'm like, everybody is playing hands off with Margaret's bestie, who was salivating at the opportunity to spill some tea on camera. Why are y'all not giving her a confessional? It's so weird to me when we have this right here brewing, right? We got Margaret and her financial issues. No shade, Margaret. I know that like nobody wants their financial issues put out there, but it's reality TV, right? She keep on getting sued, about to get sued by her accountant, allegedly. She got all that going on. Then her and her best friend fall out, and her best friend want to tell everything. Why are we not following this story? Why are we spending another second on this fragile family? Because next episode, we're going to get into the nieces not speaking. I don't care. I don't care about them Gorgas. I don't care about them Judices or now them Louis. I'm done. I'm done. When are we going to get into Margaret's takedown season? Like, when are the girls going to get in line and start coming after the broad that has consistently told their tea? Like, I still believe that Margaret was the one that told Jennifer about Joe not paying people. I believe that. I believe it. But nobody will. There's a story right here, but for some reason, nobody will go after these stories. It's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. My only issue is that Melissa told that Jennifer told Melissa's tea and not Margaret's. That friend ain't had nothing else to say. She just said something about Melissa. I don't care if Melissa is cheating. You met her husband. She needs some sane side peen. I said it. No, is that right? That's not right, Nikki. But I mean, my God, today, that husband is a lot. That husband is a lot. And if she is getting some sane side peen from a ball player, because Jennifer keep on bringing up that ball player. Melissa, what black athlete you bang? Let me stop. I'm done. I'm done. Sorry to the Jersey fans. I apologize. I'm being messy. Forgive me. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. But I wanted to end here. Dolores, money well spent. Money well spent. I do not know who this biracial woman is, but Dolores, money well spent. Who the hell is this? I was watching the show. I had to take a picture. Because I said, who is that? Excuse me, I just did a mail run. So I got all my mail in the back. But who is this? Who is giving Apollonia? No, not Apollonia. Vanity. This is Vanity 6. That's right. Nice to meet you. I still won't tell you my name. Come on. Money well spent. Money well spent. That's all I wanted to say about that tragic show. What do you guys have to say? Oh, I do have one more thing to say. Danielle can choke. I don't care nothing that strong face heifer got to say, but I will say this. She is right about Rachel being a rat. And Melissa, Nobody in this community calls anybody a rat. You guys are not mob wives. Let's sit down. Sit down. Danielle is right. Rachel Fuda is a rat. She twisted that whole conversation that she had with Danielle and took it to Margaret for brownie points. Rachel, what Margaret got on you? I can't believe y'all let Margaret be in charge of the girls. Margaret, ciao. Teresa, get off the show and live your best life. And if Louis is not going to protect you, then you need to stop filming with him. Because I do not like the fact that Louis never has her back. He keeps on having everybody else's back, but your back, Teresa. I do not care about him and trying to be, I was going to say the Dalai Lama, child. I do not care him trying to be this peaceful motivational speaker. I do not care if you are wrong. That man in the face of your enemies should stand 10 toes down for you. How dare he try to reason with your enemy in front of you and tell, shut up, Teresa. Come down, Teresa. This is not how we do things, Teresa. Who are you? Who are you? Have her back or get off this show. That's all I want to say. What do you guys have to say? Miss T said Dolores' boyfriend is never around. I guess that's why we don't know much about him. And listen, let's keep it that way. What I do like is that he sets boundaries with Frank, and Frank cannot take the fact that Dolores is finally dating a man that is not in love with Frank. I love that for her. Go ahead, Black Dolores. Obi said, it was pridefulness in the story for me. Ma'am, he is no catch. Well, in the looks department, you know, I'm not going to. We're not going to do James Gandolfini like that. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. Tracy said, I've seen all of Teresa's life story on this show. Someone tell me something about Joe and Melissa. They give nothing. They can go. They don't. It's like, what do y'all have going on? And I mean, they never stick to anything, right? Remember when Melissa wanted to have a baby for 2 episodes? Remember that? Remember she had a singing career for 1 episode? Like, they never stick through anything. It's annoying. Vodka said, I really sympathize with Teresa having to deal with Melissa. Child, poor thing. Poor thing. Kathy said, I stopped watching Jersey after the first episode. I saw the writing on the wall. I'll tune in for Teresa's wedding special. I won't. Louis, something's going on with Louis. It's something about him in my spirit. Something in my spirit ain't right. Something about him. Blue Jay said, family mess hits different than friends, strangers. At least they can walk away. Family, you know, it's running deep. It is, but this has been running deep for over 10 years. We're tired. Imagine how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are. There is nothing new on Jersey. And this is the thing. How Jersey is able to get away with the same storyline for over a decade, and the Real Housewives of New York had 1 pandemic season and they got put on pause, that's baffling to me. That's baffling to me. Paige URL said Teresa's a first-generation kid, so she is thinking in both English and Italian, so she's unable to articulate properly and comes out scrambled. That's a different perspective. I never saw it that way. I will add to that perspective and say, I think that's absolutely what's happening. I also think she's a fighter. I think she just fights. I don't think she's a talker. I think she's a fighter. That's exactly what happens, B Sting. B Sting said, Tree can't articulate or reference examples, and Melissa exploits it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jazzy Go said, but honestly, Teresa keeps the storyline going with the family drama. She acts like she's tired, but she's no victim. All right. Obi said he called her garbage in at christening. They threw so much shots at Teresa. That's when I started clocking the Gorgas. That's the thing. I'm like, I can understand not liking Teresa. I get it, right? But I'm like, are we all forgetting when we met Melissa and Joe? That wasn't a good meeting. That wasn't a good first impression for me. Miss T said, haters are always your greatest motivators and supporters. I know that's right. I know that's right. Give Me Shelter said, Melissa and her family wanted to show up Teresa at her own wedding. That's what it seems like, because I'm like, why do you want to go to the wedding of somebody you don't like? That's weird. Or do you just want to go because it's more camera time? Like, that's weird. Megan said it's toxic, but I think Melissa was probably forced to include Teresa in her wedding when she didn't like her family, and that family probably didn't like Melissa. That's part of why she feels away. I will also say when Jen was just like, "Oh, well, Teresa had you in her wedding by like obligation," I think the last time or something like that, or she was obligated to be in your wedding. Um, Everybody was jumping on her like they didn't know what she was saying. It's really weird to not include your only sibling's partner in your wedding. Like you have one brother, you're not going to include his wife in your wedding party. That's just weird, right? That don't mean she got to be in it, right? You can do whatever you want. It's your day, ladies. Do whatever you want. But I get what Jen was saying there. She was like, well, you are obligated to be in the wedding or like a part. Like she's obligated to ask you, not your family. And that's right. That is absolutely right. Like, why does she got to include Melissa's mother and sisters, especially when they beefing with her? That is so weird that is the hill that they want to die on. That don't make sense in any other world. And they are not going to sit up here and act like the Italian culture is a cult. Where it's like, well, in the Italian community, everything awful. Everything that they want to get away with, they always thought, well, in Italian culture. No, I might not be Italian, but I'm Philadelphia, so that's close enough. I feel like y'all make excuses for poor behavior and throw it on your culture to make the rest of the audience seem crazy, to make us seem like we're not seeing what we seeing. No, y'all being awful. Awful. Andy gives me money laundering. Why am I so messy on this show today? I would never say this. Forgive me. No, it don't give me money laundering. Money laundering, Melissa. Paige Rurell said, yeah, we want to know why Joe Garga is banned from that Home Depot in Jersey. Yes. Miss T said, if Teresa doesn't show, the new ladies will just start arguing about their family issues. Absolutely. And again, Danielle can choke, but she does bring something to the show. And I hope that she's not trying to bring that tragic relationship with her brother. I don't want it. But baby, did y'all hear the tea about Jackie? Girl, I went down the Jersey rabbit hole. So allegedly, Jackie and her sister is beefing because Jackie's husband, the one that gets darker and more fit every season, and Jackie don't bat an eye, girl. You better check with Lisa. But he was dating her sister first, and Jackie came in and took him from her sister. That's the alleged tea on the street, them Jersey streets. Because this is what I'm Jackie, this is what I'm saying. You got a lot of opinions about everybody else and their, family issues. Can't nobody talk about you and that sister. If we want to shake the table, let's bring that sister on the show and see what's going to happen. Because I'm not saying that we don't need to see family drama and that we're done with it and that this show is above it. This is Jersey. They're not above anything. I'm saying I at least want to see a different family get into it. And it is not Danielle, because her and her brother are very similar to Teresa and Joe. I don't want that. What's going on with Jackie and her sister? What's going on over there? What's going on? Let's see Margaret and them stepkids. What's going on over there? Let's start shaking up other people's families for once. For once. Blue Jay said, after the landlords on TikTok happily talking about how they scam their residents, after hearing landlords on TikTok happily talk about how they scam their residents, they have a special place in hell. Yeah, child. None of them good. Miss T said, Dolores' boyfriend is never around. I guess, I got that one. I said something about castles that I wanted to talk about. I guess I can't find it. Give Me Shelter said, Teresa's never had Jennifer's back. It's definitely a one-sided relationship. Absolutely. I always say that Jennifer don't owe Teresa any kind of loyalty. But I've always gotten from Teresa that she's not a girl's girl. Teresa always gives me, I'm always going to ride with my man, no matter what, right? I'm always going to ride with the man. I feel like she is very traditional in that sense in Italian culture. I feel like she's very traditional in that sense where she just lets the man lead, no matter if he got any common sense, whatever. If he has a penis, she's going to let him lead. Even if she's got the money, she going to let him lead just because he got a wee-wee. That's why I see what's happening with Louis. I still don't understand what's going on with Pizzagate. I don't know who's right. I don't know who's right in Pizzagate, but I just know it's a mess. It's some mess. Marge is good, but she has not been enjoyable this season, and I feel like it's because she's getting involved in Melissa and Teresa's mess, and I'm like, stay out of that. That's already an agitating situation. You don't need to add any fuel to the fire, especially with the gasoline that you drop on every damn thing. Back up, Margaret. Oh my goodness, back up. Oh, she would. She would take several. So I don't know why they're all scared. Baby, me and that friend will be meeting every day. Sierra said, yeah, Mars needs a takedown. She came on the show bullying Siggy Flicker. It's time to bully the bully. Nikki, you always spilling tea. Thank you, Sierra. I try. Give Me Shelter said, oh yeah, Laura has been friends with Margaret since they were 12. She got the tea. She would be my cookie lady, period. Just simply said they need to take a page out of Kingy's book and pull up Laura at an event. Like, come on, we're making TV here. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't know why everybody's still so stuck on Teresa and Melissa. It's crazy. Yeah, she is Miss T because of what Margaret did about her marriage. I get it, but I'm like, girl, you need to get in your revenge mode. You're in your revenge era at this point, sis. Just simply said, I am thinking Jennifer don't want to be iced out from the group. That could really be a reason why she's holding back. But I think they don't have the power. I think Bravo stopped allowing groups to do that a long time ago. I think back in the day she should have been scared, but now I don't think they have the power to do that. Thank you. Blue Jay says, shoot, Teresa pulled up to a party telling everyone with ears, y'all, Jackie's husband's been cheating on. Is being cheated on. Yes, because she had just got that tea from Margaret, who was freaking out that Teresa was going to say something at some point. And unfortunately for Teresa, when she finally told the truth that Margaret told her that tea about Jackie's husband, Jackie was at the stage where she didn't want to believe her. And I think Jackie knows that Margaret told Teresa, but Jackie does not want to get on Margaret's bad side. She has voiced it. She knows everybody's tea, and she does not want to be embarrassed on TV. So she'll never come after Margaret. Jazzy Go said, but Marge is doing her job. Jennifer is too busy being a hypocrite to me. I absolutely think that Margaret is doing her job. I've never said that Margaret shouldn't be on the show. I would get rid of the Gorgas and the Judices, and just move on with everybody else. We can keep Fessler too. We can keep her off the show. I think, I don't think she's a bad person, but I just feel like with this group, she does not fit. But I feel like we can move on from them and their family drama. And if the only way they stay on the show is that family drama, we can cut it loose. We can cut it loose. Teresa don't want to be there no more. She tired. She's done. She's talking about moving to California. She don't feel like it. She does not feel like it. Afro-Latina Dolores. Absolutely. Because I was like, is that Dolores or Zoe Saldana? Who the hell is that? Who the hell is that? Money well spent, Dolores. Money well spent. Ciao. Black Dolores looks great. I was like, girl, I did not know who that person was. Money well spent. Deloria. When do we have a field day with Dolores' new look? A field day. Jazzy Go said, I like Rachel. She told the truth, and if you don't want to repeat it, don't say it. They're not friends. Her and Marge are. Yeah, I think Rachel's good for the show, too. A lot of people think that she's boring. But I think Rachel is coming off a bit annoying because she's obviously kissing up to Margaret because she thinks that that's the way that she can stay on the show. But I think if Rachel just came in holding her own, not trying to kiss up to any side, I think the audience would receive her the same way they're receiving Danielle. But they're not really able to digest Rachel because she has an opinion, and I feel like her opinion is Margaret's. So you really can't get into her. But I like how she doesn't back down. I think that's really good for her, but I'm still just like, girl, it's giving flunky. Let me get a few more and then I got to get out of here. Miss P said, Bravo didn't want to deal with Ramona's problematic behavior. That's why Roni had to be put on pause. But I feel like they could be put on pause and come back without Ramona. What's with all this reboot nonsense? What is that? What is that? Patient Royale said, right, Nikki, we want to know why Marge's stepkids and bio kids don't speak to her. Like, let's get into that. We can't keep on talking about Melissa and Teresa not liking each other because now at this point, we're going into the point of no return because now they're bringing in the kids. Now we're bringing in the kids. Now you got Teresa's kids speaking on her uncle. You got Melissa speaking on Teresa's kids. Now you got Teresa talking about Antonia. I'm like, now it's getting messy. Now we're getting to the point of no return. When y'all bring the children in, it's just another level of mess. Another level of mess. Danielle is absolutely turning it up for the cameras. Again, she can choke. She's good for the show, but she can choke. IA said, I absolutely believe. Oh, child. We don't want to get in that. That woman had so many breakdowns about that man. We are not rehashing that. Jazzy Go said, I didn't like Siggy, so I didn't care that she left. Oh, I thought Siggy was good on the show. But then I don't know if it was Danielle or Margaret. She was like trying to make them racist. And this is the thing. You're not going to get me defending any white person from accusations of racism because I feel like if a white person is being accused of racism, there's something there. There's something there, right? I will say this. I was like, Siggy, I'm not seeing it. Anti-Semitism, right? Because you can't be racist against other whites. I don't know. Sorry, white community. I know enough, but I don't know all of it. All of y'all tea. But I was like, the examples that Siggy was giving, I was just like, girl, I want to be with you. I want to rock with you, but I just think you just don't like Margaret. So anything she says is the problem for you. And now seeing Siggy's whole Instagram or whatever, I'm just like, I didn't see the anti-Semitism that you were saying that Margaret was doing, right? But I'm just one person. But I damn sure see the racism on your Instagram. She is nutted in a fruitcake. She is gone. Wasn't she at the Capitol on January 6th? Like, Siggy is gone. Out of her damn mind. Drewski said Roni got put on pause because none of them wanted to film with Ebony for the reunion. That is the truth. And tried to pull the power move. They can all suffer for all I care, to be quite honest with you. That's the truth. Drewski is not lying about that. They did not want to film with Ebony. The only person that wanted to film with her was Sonia. Damn shame. Oh, yeah, I don't want that woman dead. It's, it's African-American for I don't wish her well. Obi said her bio kids speak with her, though. They don't like being in the spotlight, so Marge is keeping it that way. That I believe, because I think I've only heard about her stepkids not wanting to talk to her. And who's surprised? And who's surprised? Yeah, she's very gone. She's very gone. Yakriti said, what didn't help Siggy was the anti-Semitism claim. Was Andy? Yeah. Andy was like, I don't see that, but I wasn't there. Oh, ciao. Anyway, Star fam, let me get out of here. I'm late for Something else I gotta do. Child, Wednesday is Wednesdaying. I do have 2 lives that I'm doing tomorrow. We're going to talk about Vanderpump Rules. I'm finally caught up. Yikes. This show is still messy. Oh my goodness. They are in there good and in their 40s and just messy. What a shame. But I'm finally caught up on Vanderpump Rules and Married at First Sight and 90 Day Fiance. And I'm finally caught up on Brother Husband. So we're going to talk about all of those tomorrow. Thank you all so much for joining me. I've had a blast spending this time with you guys. And I will see you soon for something else. Danielle can choke figuratively. I am not a fan of her. You got to address that controversy, mama. You got to address that controversy. Anyway, love you all. See you soon for something else. Bye. Mwah. I got to get something to eat. What am I going to eat? Oh, I got egg rolls. Yes, egg rolls. Let me get my egg rolls.